Hi, I'm Ann Arnold with From the Vine to Wine, and today I'm interviewing another fabulous woman in the world of wine. This is Stephanie Franklin, and she's the founder of Fly Wine. So nice to talk to you, and I know I'm going to try a few of your wines today, so thank you so much. So tell me, Stephanie, this is something that was a passion for you. It's not a career that you had probably envisioned, but tell me about how this happened.
Thank you so much for having me. This actually just came out the blue during the pandemic. I have always, I want to say, at least for the past 15 years, have found and been very intrigued by wine. I lived in Europe for a while, London particularly, so I used to travel a lot to your other to European countries. So I got to really expand my wine knowledge. And when I came back to the States, and the pandemic happened and I'm enjoying wines and a friend says, "Oh, I have this wine tasting box and it's horrible. All the wines are horrible." And the box was cute. Every single wine in the box was horrible. And I also made a note to where the more options you have in the box, probably the worse the wine is. So a light bulb went off in the middle of the pandemic. And I said, okay, I think I have an idea. And we moved forward with the idea, and I was able to bring some people that I were already really close friends with along with me. And luckily, one of my good friends, Giuliano, is a somm, so he's very high up, level 3. Doesn't really count. It's like in his blood. He's like fourth, fifth generation. I tell him, but he is very high up. So that came about, and we started to formulate the idea of flat wines. And from there, we moved into what we actually wanted to do in our mission. And that was to work with independent wineries from around the world, as well as showcase local gems outside of the Sonoma and Napa area. I myself, as most Americans do, fell into that whole trap of when you come to California, you just want to go to Sonoma or Napa. That's it. And you don't think about other areas outside of that.
Mm.
Gilroy, Livermore, Paso Robles. So many other options. But that didn't really come to mind until I was in this area. And of course, I had to visit Sonoma and Napa several times before I realized and opened my mindset beyond it. But that's a pretty well-rounded view of how we came about and where we are now, which is bringing over independent wineries that are hard to find, gems that you'll probably never visit. Some people never visit in their lives, as well as discovering some local hidden gems.
I have actually a couple of your hidden gems from your first subscription. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about this one. This is a Pinot Grigio, and it's from the
Yes.
Veneto in Italy. So tell me, this is Mosole della Venezia. So tell me a little bit about how you found this one. And I'm going to pour and try a little bit while we're
So
talking.
we have a partnership, we have a sourcer, and I stated, look, he knew that we were looking for independent wineries, and he actually found one that's taken over with Mosole. So they're located between the Dolomites and Venice. And so which means that at that particular wine, as Giuliano likes to say, it's the original Pinot Grigio. So you're
Oh,
not going to get a lot of the lemon and lime, which you normally get
I'm
with a
getting
lot of
peach.
American Pinot Grigios. So
Oh my
because
gosh.
they're located in that area, they grow in limestone. So that means that the vines have to go deeper. So it's a lot more mineral forward and heavy. Is one of my favorites. Is one that we actually wholesale out to a lot of the bigger conglomerates here as well too. And it's just absolutely delightful. And you're going to notice it's very crisp.
Mm.
I always say it reminds me of like a crisp apple. It's something
Mm.
you would just easily take with friends to the park in the summer, just like
Yeah.
just pop it open. It's easily drinkable and enjoyable to where you don't have to feel like you have to combine it with any food.
No, it's lovely, and it has a lot more body and
Yes,
texture than what we think of as just a regular Pinot Grigio, which is almost watery. It's got
exactly.
it's got more like a Meyer lemon and peach. pear, nice juicy apple. So it's really got a lot more going on. This is lovely.
Yes, and this is seriously one
Mm.
delightful, one of my favorite Pinot Grigios. I probably would just only drink that Pinot Grigio ever again.
I can see that it would be great in the summer, but I mean, it's not so crisp and light that you couldn't have it like at a holiday party with some
Exactly.
charcuterie and cheese and olives and things like that. It seems like it would be a great pair for that.
And if you want some really good, great spritzers that you want, that's the type of wine that you want
Mm.
with it, because it's so nice and it's just not. I actually had someone tell me, they said Pinot Grigio, they call it, it's just like, it's the worst. It's just sewer wort. And I was like, oh, and then
No.
they tasted this and they're like, no, this is great. And I was like, no, it's our Pinot Grigio 100%. If you have, like myself, a very hard stance, a Pinot Grigio is just, oh, I just don't like it. It's so light, watery. It's just like, what's the point? It will change your mindset.
Absolutely. It's really great. So now this is part of the wine subscription,
Yes.
but if I didn't want to do a subscription, there's lots of different options, right? If I'm in the industry, if I just want to do tasting, tell me about the options that Fly Wines has for consumers as well as businesses.
Of course, we're our goal is to not only reach those wine enthusiasts, but also novices. So the experts like yourself, as well as people that just want to understand wines and they're just introing into wines. So with that being said, we have a wine tasting box that people can come in and they can purchase 4 different varietals. Those will have our local gems, which is Fortino Winery, and they're located in Gilroy, California. So you'll still get to taste wines that you've never heard about or actually wineries that you'll never visit. And then also what we're doing to make sure that we expand the reach from actually our wine subscription is that if anyone wants to come and purchase an individual bottle of wine, you can do that as well.
Mhm.
But again, of course, the price point for the individual bottles is a little higher than what it would be if you were actually a member of our wine subscription program. But what we want you to do is experience the hidden gems that we have. Even that your reaction and tasting that Pinot Grigio is just a very good intro into what we're bringing in. And everything that we have is handpicked by our son, Giuliano. So we sit down, he goes and he says, okay, this is what we're going to do and what we're going to bring in. So it's all curated. It's not to where we're just bringing things in just to bring it in. We're very highly focused on those independent wineries that have a very unique, exceptional quality, as well as focused on other countries outside of the norm. So
Mhm.
we have a Turkish wine coming in. That's going to
That's
be
exciting.
exactly. A lot of people have never had Turkish wine.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's
That's hard to
really exciting.
find.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna try the next bottle,
Yes.
and this is the Mosole Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes. So that's a Cab Franc and a Cab
Oh,
Sauvignon.
Cab Franc. Oh, okay. It's a
Yes,
cab
and a
blend.
Sauvignon mix.
Lovely.
It's a mix. It's a
So
blend.
kind of a little Bordeaux-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Nice
It's a
blend.
blend. And the main thing about that blend, what makes it so different is that it's not in French oak. They use oak from Slovakia. So
Mm-hmm.
that oak is different. So it's going to be a lot less full body, like, French oak is very
Yeah.
forward. You're going to be able, it's very nice and like, it's almost, I always say across after Pinot, then would come this cab, and then you would do like a cab franc.
This is really nice and medium bodied, not like what I sometimes consider California style, which is you just taste the wood, you smell the wood, the grape is kind of
Exactly.
somewhere in the background. I mean, the body is lovely.
And that's why
Got
we
really
brought that
beautiful
wine
fruit
in.
aromas and just that little hint of oak, which is
Yes,
very
and
elegant.
yes, that comes from their pick from picking the oat from Slovakia in it. So it's very much more milder in flavor.
Mhm.
It's not overpowering. And
Yeah.
it's so nice. This cab, anyone could enjoy it. It's almost a very good table wine and it pairs well with a lot of different foods. A lot
Yeah.
of different, as you know, like different cabs, especially cab francs, can only be paired with, they need very heavy, fatty, meaty food. That cab can be easily enjoyed across several different foods, and it's so nice that anyone can enjoy it. And that's what we wanted to do. We want to ease people into our wine subscription so they can, number one, see how we're bringing you very distinctive quality wine, exclusive wine from our wine club
Mhm.
that you're not going to get anywhere. We want to focus on different aspects, even if there are norm-like cabs, of different flavor palettes that this brings outside of the norm of what really happens.
Yeah. I can see that this would be something that a lot of people would like, because it's leaning really more to a Pinot Noir Merlot.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit lighter,
Mhm.
milder, maybe to a certain extent with the tannins, but it's still got such beautiful ripe fruit flavors and there's the little touch of spice from the oak. So,
Yes,
I mean, this you could
exactly.
even have with your Thanksgiving turkey, even,
Oh,
I mean,
100%. That will be
this,
delightful.
yeah.
Now that you bring it up, I'll be opening up a bottle with my turkey.
There you go. I mean, I would have this. I love having a lighter red wine with my salmon, like roasted
Mhm.
salmon, pork tenderloin. I mean, hamburger. I mean, you could really, obviously,
And that
very
was the
versatile. And
point.
if people are having, different things, or you're having a bunch of different dishes, this would pair really nicely too, I would
Yes,
imagine.
yes.
Yeah,
And it's
I like it
very,
very much.
I'm very proud of what we're building and the wines that we have coming in. And it is something to where what we're bringing to you is that we want you, even if it's a normal, what's in the norm of the like mainstream grapes, we're bringing you something a little different. So you can taste even a lot of wines from California. Everything starts to taste the same. It's like, this is tasting very, but
Cookie
we
cutter style, right?
exactly. So we don't want cookie cutter style anything. We want you to be able to remember that cab, that Pinot Grigio, because what we do is we are helping these wineries. So that if you do want to, as we expand and grow, you're going to be able to exclusively find these wineries through us Fly Wines. But we hope to create a memorable experience, expand your wine knowledge, and you actually go ahead and feel confident in your understanding of your particular palette.
That's another thing that makes this business a little bit different, is that the education component is
Yes,
very important for you and dear to your heart. And that's, I mean, as a wine educator, I'm all for that, because I think the more you know, the more you enjoy the wine, and the more you know, the more you want to know
yes,
that you don't know, and then the more wines you want to try. So it's kind of a floodgate. But
exactly.
I do think it's great that you have, that aspect. Can you tell a little bit about that and your plans for more education within the site?
Oh, yes, 100%. We're looking to expand. Now, I myself, I tell people all the time, I'm not a som, but I know good wines. We have a som that's an expert, Giuliano, who knows every detail about the undertone of the wines. So as we grow within Fly Wines, what we're hoping to do and what we're going to do is focus on novices, people that are just entering into the wine industry, and then we'll start to take you to those further deeper notes, Giuliano, as well as our other team of SOMs, to where other aspects of it, how you can increase your wine education. And what we're hoping and aiming to do is that regardless of the fact of your level of knowledge, you have a full understanding of your palate and identifying your palate. So you don't just have to generally just pick wines just because, oh, I like this wine.
Mhm.
Why do you like the wine? I like it because it's more fruit forward. I like it because it's less acidic. So it's one of those things to where we want to educate people and then also educate them on their palate and then take it a little further to educating you around the world of wines as a whole and understanding and aspects of different wines and wine regions and the knowledge of it.
That's great. I mean, I think that's something that's been missing. People, I think, especially during COVID, got very one-dimensional about their wine purchases, and obviously didn't have the ability to travel and experience new places. But this is a great, because you're bringing in different California wines than the people are looking at normally, as well as wines from countries around the world. And you're almost like sort of opening the door for so many people to really experience a different level of wine consumption,
And
wine
the
enjoyment.
wines that we do have bringing in as well too, are brought in to open up your palate outside of the norm. Like you said, even what you articulated about the cab and how it works, that's what we want to do with the wines we bring in. We don't want one-dimensional wines. We want it to be like, oh, it opens your palate. This cab is a little different than what I had. This Pinot
Yeah.
Grigio is different, but why is it different?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm identifying X, Y, and Z.
People really enjoy also learning about why the wine is different, where it's from.
Mhm.
And I know many people are happy to support smaller producers rather than large conglomerates where they're not necessarily putting as much care and love into producing the wines.
These, and I will say that that was one thing to where, as we're growing fly wines, we're very cautious of. We want to focus on people that love their wines, that really care, and not just trying to grow astronomically, because it also puts strains on them as well too.
Mm.
And we've heard that from the winemakers, to where a lot of times the bigger conglomerates, they'll come to them, and what happens is their demand is so high they can't keep up. And then guess what happens? Their actual quality of wine decreases.
Mm.
So if you've been in the industry and built a wine business for 50, 60 years, it's very sad to see the quality of your wine go down. And what happens when that happens? The sales decrease. So
Absolutely.
we focus on growing them slowly so they feel comfortable and the quality of their wine is stays the same or it gets better. And that's why they like working with us, and that's why they exclusively work with us. So you can only find these wines online through Fly Wines.
So I'm going to be linking that information in the text below our interview. But tell me, you've got something going on for Black Friday and then maybe holidays in 2024. Tell me
Yeah.
what the future looks like.
Yes, I'm super excited. We're launching our wine subscription this week. So you can visit us at flywines.club. So that's CLUB, fly, FLY, wines, WINES.club. And what we're offering is $15 off your first month's order on the wine subscription program. All you have to do is use the word Superfly. I know.
Clever.
Is the code, and we'll definitely get that out to you. But we're super excited. We'll also have some great deals and offers if you kind of want to test us out on our tasting boxes, which are a great gift, by the way. These are not just any boxes. These are very much so curated, hand-picked wines with an excellent box. We also offer virtual events. And eventually, we will offer virtual events not only on the corporate level, which we already do, but to individuals that come to our website. So we'll have a date that anyone can come and experience that Fly Wines wine tasting box with us, and Giuliano, as well as any other son, will walk you through it.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And you ship pretty much to most states in the United
Most
States.
states, I think it's only like 4 or 5 of them, but majority of the states were perfectly fine in.
That's great. Well, this has been so much fun and wonderful to try your wines. I hope everybody else decides that they want to do a little tasting too, because I'm very impressed. They're absolutely wonderful. And female-owned businesses, we have to support each other.
Yes.
I am so happy for you to be launching this wine subscription and being able to be part of it. And I can't wait to find out what happens next. We'll have to get together again in 2024 and
Yes, yes.
all about everything else that's happening for you.
Yes, the Turkish wine is coming your way.
Oh, and I love Middle Eastern, Turkish, Persian food. I love to cook it. So
Oh,
I would, yeah, it's very hard to find. So it's great that you're finding these things that are sort of off the beaten path that are really so much fun to try and learn about and delicious too. So, well, thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
And cheers.
Cheers. I'm happy you like the wine.
I am too. I love it.
As I told you, that Pinot Grigio is quite delightful.
Absolutely.